I had a niece named Kenedi Grace Thompson. She was actually taken by my family by one of these motherfuckers portraying themselves to be a human. The issue with this battle has actually been, it's been hidden by most of the people in power. My brother had a child, his first daughter. He actually tried to work and get custody of her like I did of my children. They actually sent someone, because her name was Kennedy and she was a child, to kill her. Now, the local police department and magistrates and all this situation played a big part in this. They didn't know how to explain the situation considering accountability. Most of my family has taken care of kids, ensured the safety of children, but someone went out of their way to kill my niece just because her name was Kennedy, and it was an outright insult. And I took it very personally. All the ones who think killing children is a fucking joke, I'm gonna do everything in heaven and on earth to make sure you pay for it. Every child that's ever gone missing, every child and woman that's been taken out of the United States forests, every man and hiker that's gone missing just because they went on a hunting trip. These are things actually happening in order to mess up the American home. Best way to mess up a family is actually to take out the father, but no father wants to see his child killed. Every father is supposed to be buried by their children. In my brother's case, in my family's case, we did everything possible to try to get my niece out of the home that she was in. CPS dropped the ball every fucking time. When we got the police department involved, they dropped the ball as well. Now, I lived in a neighborhood with everyone, you know. I lived in a neighborhood of neighbors. There was Christians, Catholics. A Mason lived right around the corner from me, so you imagine the shit I'm dealing with him. But I peacefully walked over and spoke to him about the current situation underway. A lot of these men don't think that the American public knows what they're doing. That's why most Masons write off all their bills with a John Hancock, you know, their signature, use their social security number, it goes straight to the IMF fund. And magistrates know of this. Magistrates take over the position called a fiduciary. Fiduciary is actually someone who's supposed to write off debt. I went through a similar situation with the judge and magistrate. Well, she wasn't a judge, let's be clear on that. She's a magistrate named Tammy. Now, Tammy, she turned the other direction. She knew all the information that I knew, but she wanted to play stupid. That's okay, I was taking accountability in the courtroom. Just another situation. Now, by the Constitution of the law, you're allowed to speak for yourself. You're allowed to stand up for yourself. You do not need someone to speak for you. The reason you don't want that is because of acquiescence. Now, if you have someone speaking for you and give them acquiescence, you are pretty much flat out handing over your vocal freedom. That's why a lot of magistrates lose ground when you say, I can represent myself. That's a constitutional right. Has been that way, always will be that way. That's why the Constitution is always under so much fire. Now, Biden actually talks about a universal system. He's actually said we need a jihad in America. And yeah, that's straight out of your mouth, Biden. Because of the religious differences, we have so much conflict in the Middle East. Well, obviously we do, considering you have Old Testament as well as New Testament living right next to each other, and then you have a bunch of people that have never got the updated version of the book. Quran, Talmud, King James Version of the Bible. A lot of people were finding contradictions in the Bible they didn't notice because they didn't know that this book was actually constructed by the Catholic Church. And if you look at history in the Ottoman Empire, the Ottomans were actually known for hunting down jinn, Diddiks, things of that nature. These are supernatural entities. That's why they actually essentially try to barter and put spiritual chains on people. Now, I've had Jewish friends before, I've had Masonic friends before, Christian, Catholic, I've sat down in mosques before, I've talked to different people and understand their ways of life. I was able to critique some of it. Some of the things are still going on because of misinformation. If you keep a certain region in the dark, they will always be in the dark. So I love illuminating certain areas and letting people know what's really going on. 99% of the time, it's not the people. It's all the way up the chain. That's because these gentlemen and ladies, I can't even call them gentlemen considering the conduct of their behavior, but they collude in order for a dollar value. Your birth certificate has you stated at $250,000 to $750,000, and you appreciate over time considering UCC code is Black 6 law, maritime law, contract law, tax law, civil law, every law that you can imagine, every law that you think of. They actually pulled all these UCC code book informations off, and they want to privatize all this information in order for you to be a constant slave of whatever country you are. Now, that's why a lot of these people get together. See, the problem isn't the people, it's the slavers who portray themselves as goodwill hunting, but they're not. It's always their word against their own, and I don't have a problem with getting diplomatic immunity and pulling the trigger. They know that. I'm going for political office and I'm doing everything right and legally, but that is not... The fact doesn't escape me that these people will actually do what they actually did with JFK. They collude, they plot, they use money, they use whatever resource they can, and they will try to fuck anybody who tries to get in their way. Many people are saying fuck you and fucking them back properly. This is not going to stop. This is not going to change. That's why I'm going directly into the White House. YouTube knows this. Facebook knows this. East to West Coast is finding out. Canada already knows. Palestine already knows. President Netanyahu already knows. Hell, they even know in Mexico. Certain people actually mark up their bodies because there's something going on that most of the public don't know about. There's been technology out that has soared and been privatized in order for the most... I don't want to call them elite because they're not elite. They're not special. They are not special whatsoever. They're not humanitarian. They're not pro-world. They're not pro-you. They're not naturalists. They're not anything good. They're just what the Bible actually states as hypocrites. They're actors. Overstanding the White House has become actually an everyday thing for me. I actually have to go out of my way and use the technology that I have in order to do better in this world. They've been hindering me every step of the way. Shouldn't have to do anything with your race, nation, or creed, but if I actually tell you that you're drinking poison, don't get mad at me if I smack the glass out of your hand. If I tell you you're listening to a liar and you end up getting fucked, don't tell me I didn't make an effort to help you. These people kill children for a living. I add up peace treaties. I make sure people get taken care of. And I don't even get paid for it. These men make over $250,000 a year, and all they care about is a life of luxury. They're actually trying to have a 1,000-year Reich, and I'm not letting it happen. Most of these Masons are 3rd, 4th, and 5th generation Nazis. That's why they have to keep everything quiet and behind closed doors. Also why, considering the new outlet of information from the Vatican, a bunch of children actually sent letters to the Queen before she got as old as she was and elderly. A lot of children from Canada were taken that only wanted her to be absolved, considering she was wearing jewelry full of demonic entities. And there is a science to that as well. There are people that actually go out of the way to do the right thing, and there are people that will go out of their way to fuck everything up. That's why it's so frustrating. I see it in most of the politicians' faces, the ones that actually try to do the right thing and not sell out, because they are surrounded by fucking traitors. You know how many people, soldiers, men, women, get taken a day? 1.1 million people go missing in the national forests a year. I've been alive for 36 years. That's over 36 million people. That doesn't get your attention, I don't know what will. I know where all the problems are. I know where all the culprits are. Now, it started out as a military operation to literally take out all the woods, take out all the people, evacuate all the people, and literally go headhunting down in holes for the fucking problem. A lot of the men that got into this, they lost their lives because they were misinformed and weren't given the correct intel to protect themselves. That's why I do the things I do. The United States government has been compromised. I'm doing the best I can to fix it. There are men in action that are getting information that they need in order to survive. White House thinks they should operate under a certain level of ignorance, and I can't let that happen. You want to talk about authority? I have way more authority than the president does. You want to talk about knowledge? I have way more knowledge on the subject than he does. That's a fact. He's actually not telling you everything, and he knows it. He's going to see this video and he's going to call me a motherfucker, and you're right. I'm coming straight for you, buddy. All the snake boys around you that you pretend don't exist, I see them. You can hold Obama's hip, that's okay. You can do the reach around shit with him, that's okay. You're all in one fucking place. Even all the people that are working, I put information out there about all the fucking stuff that you did with the frequency information. Now, if you have a certain area, just like DC, if you get an aerial view of everything that's over that state, it's primarily run by Catholics. What they actually don't know is they're put on a 5G grid. So if your body naturally runs at 432 hertz, and that's your peaceful state of harmony, and the government raises it to 440 to come out of your radios and fuck up your actual DNA, that's hindering your ability to think for yourself as well as make proper decisions and defend yourself. Now, currently, you can look at your cell phone bill and you are on a 5 gigahertz grid. A lot of people are falling down dead. Ambulances are being rushed. People don't know what to do. You are essentially the frog on the hot plate. You are 80% water, 20% of the earth. This is basic science, people. If you don't drink enough water, you will dehydrate and die. I had to be a water monitor in the Air Force, and people would fall out all the time just for dehydration and humidity and suffering from heat stroke and things of that nature. There are things in play that you've been kept ignorant about. I haven't been keeping people ignorant. I educate, and I want people to be smarter than they are now. Most people actually tell you there is an enemy in plain sight. It's the top 2 echelons of our actual government. That is also a fact. Take it all the way back to JFK. That man told you this cabal was starting. Take it all the way back to 1906. You're going to find a lot of scary stuff in history, and it's all going it really is going to all pan out. I took it upon myself to actually give out this information. I'm not trying to short anyone. I've had Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 1000 companies try to get in my way. They're about to lose all their money. They're about to lose everything. I'm sick of your shit. Everyone's figuring it out.